everyone from wherever you are joining this session. Welcome to this another session where what we discuss is from the practitioners of either the education sector or healthcare sector. We get individuals who have done a lot of things and who are day in and day out working in those activities. And the motivation for such sessions was from the sessions which I was doing with the startups. What I realized was the problem statements on which the startups were working, as well as the assessment which they had in a particular sector, was a bit superficial. So I thought it would be a good idea to get a lot of perspectives from actual practitioners from the industry so that they could point out maybe areas where startups could pick up some problems and then they could start working on it so that the benefits percolate to various stakeholders. So in this session today we have Mr. Shailendra Tripathi, who I have the pleasure of knowing for more than a year now. We had been interacting on behalf of a course which was called personal branding, and he has a very illustrious career within the pharma industry and with most of the major excuse me. So most of the major pharma companies he has been, and as of now, he with the Dr. Reddy's, he heads a marketing department, marketing division, and at present he's based out of Bombay. He was traveling for work, but he was nice enough to make some time out for this session. So thank you, Mr. Salind, for joining this session.
Thank you, Dr. Siddharth, for having me here. Thank you so much. So it's always pleasure connecting with you. Whether I was learning the personal branding, from you or now. So great. Thank you so much.
Okay. So going forward, you have what I saw was, and which is also apparent from a LinkedIn profile. You started as a medical representative. Now you head a particular sector, a particular, let's say, the marketing division of a big pharma company. And I've seen that throughout you have been in the pharma sector. So what was your motivation to be in this kind of sector, and what has kept you going so far?
So thank you, Dr. Siddharth. This question is a very what should I say? Uh, see, in the I'll be very honest. The pharmaceutical was not the planned one. I also had ambitions like many student of my time they would have. So cracking IITs, IIMs, or the place where I come from is Eastern UP or UP as a whole. The people would normally dream about appearing into UPSC and all of that. So I was no different from the student of my time. So I attempted all those things, and then I think I kept on failing one after other. So with the baggage of the failure, so I thought, okay, I should be doing something where no the industry is knowledge based. So to my mind, two industries came. One was the computer science or IT that was evolving big time. I'm talking about the 90s, and the second one obviously was the pharmaceutical, and I was lucky enough to get into the pharmaceutical, and that's how my the journey started. And I said, okay, let us get into a job from the root level, learn at each and every level, perform, and then grow. And I believe that I have been very lucky to have great mentors around me, and obviously a great team who have helped me grow to this level. So that's how I happen to get into the pharmaceutical marketing.
So, for the audience, both Mr. Shailendra and I also belong to the Eastern UP. My background family had been the engineering and management, but throughout he has been in the pharma sector. And those of you who can relate to it, even let's say the access to doctors within particular geography, and maybe if you take maybe UP and Bihar, is limited. The population size is more, and most and access of medicines even during COVID, I would say, and so-called even medicine stores, I would say that the access of medicine which maybe pharmaceutical industry ensured, and there were a couple of particular medicines. I would say they also saved a lot of lives. So from that perspective, I would say it is not just the vaccines which helped maybe let's say mitigate the issues. Otherwise, situation would have been much worse. The pharmaceutical industry was also quite a bit, I would say, its contribution should also be recognized as far as maybe large-scale casualties, prevention of large-scale casualties are concerned. So, Mr. Shalendra, you have been from the ground up, you have seen even how the industry itself has been shaping. And then you have a lot of maybe let's say new technology aspects coming in. India also has been becoming a very prominent economic power. So, how do you see the pharma industry shaping up? Earlier, it was primarily generics which were also getting manufactured, and now a lot of, if you see vaccine and then other kind of medicines which are coming up. So how do you see the industry shaping up maybe in next 5, 10 years?
So thank you, Dr. Siddharth, for this question. And I think pharmaceutical, is a knowledge-based industry, and it has been, ever evolving. And every time, something new comes up, and I think that's the way it should go. So currently, if you see, the disruption is happening in the area of digital. So whether this is digital marketing or digital therapeutics or maybe the digital diagnostic tool, so these are the area where disruption is happening in the pharmaceutical and healthcare industry. The other part, if you look at, so core pharmaceutical product now, there is disruption around the biologics, and so those are the need of the hours. We need better medicines that are more the efficacious, and they are solving our problem, they are helping us to solve unmet needs. So I think the pharmaceutical and healthcare industry, they have been putting continuous effort to improve on and to solve the specific problem, and ensure that the people at large, they are not suffering. There are solutions for every suffering, and I believe these are the areas which definitely evolve further. For example, if I have to give you perspective about the digital therapeutics, so currently they are seen as add-on, and in future you will see that a lot of digital therapeutic products, they will come up in the marketplace, wherein the sole dependency on drug will go down, and then prognosis of the patient would be better. So that's the great area. And again, you see, maybe people would have not realized, because these kind of changes, they happen over a period of time. So we are there, we witness that, so we do not notice the changes. For example, there was a time when for any test you would have to go to the lab necessarily, and then lab would take its own sweet time. You remember your my childhood uh, days. But over a period of time, basic things which for the benefit of explaining this to the audience who are connected, is like, then it was like your glucometer, and then when you want to test your blood pressure, so all those instruments are available at your home now, correct?
Agree.
So now the digital therapeutics or digital diagnostics, you see a lot of the gadgets and other stuff that is already available, wherein all your vitals are getting measured, and then you are getting the notified on some of the vitals which you need to check on. So the disruption is happening in the digital area, and obviously, as I said, the biologics are coming up big way. This does not mean that the core pharmaceuticals are left behind. They are there, and there is the sweet growth of about 10 to 12%. That's how the IPM, and that is what I mean, Indian pharmaceutical market has been growing.
Sure. Mr. Shalendra is also author. He has written a very interesting book in CRM within the healthcare industry. So if you could just maybe talk about that book also, Mr. Shalendra, what all aspects did you cover? And what all maybe, let's say, as far as maybe facing challenges of the industry is concerned, what all maybe suggestions you have in that book?
Yeah. So, Dr. Siddharth, let me you know, take this opportunity to make a comment on the lighter side. There is a word called CRM, Customer Relationship Management, and all the technical experts, they popularize this term as another tool, technical tool, software, and systems. And CRM to a typical marketeer, as you know, would be customer relationship management. So there was some, or even now also some amount of confusion. People do not understand CRM completely. So if you look at the CRM, one part is obviously the strategy, what I'm talking about, the marketing part of it, and other part is obviously how you are going to roll out those strategies and the monitor the executions, so on and so forth. So there is the technical aspects, right? So I thought there was need to help people understand exactly what CRM is. That's the first part. The second is like the pharmaceutical industry where I come from, the word CRM has gained a negative connotations. So, CRM people actually thought, when we are talking about the CRM, it's basically transactional relationship, give and take. That is not the truth. So I thought that there was a need to set the perspective right, and hence I started writing that book. I never thought that I'll write a book as well, but somehow it happened. And so I was able to, I mean, in a way, give back to society, give back to academia, and give back to industry where I come from. The industry has given me so much. I thought a little bit, I should be doing for the industry as well. So that's where I thought I should be writing the book. And but people have liked that, and people are reading, they are appreciating. So I'm happy that I could contribute.
Sure, sure. So, with your understanding of the pharma industry, whether let's say be the supply chain, be it let's say even the production aspects, of course you would have some idea about it. And as far as also the end users is concerned, a couple of suggestions if you could give, probably where maybe startups could take up these problem statements and intervene, so that lot of maybe let's say a lot of benefits accrue to the whole ecosystem, and of course, and then maybe the public at large, people at large also benefit.
So, Dr. Siddharth, I will come back to this question. If you allow me, I would like to spend a couple of minutes on the part of CRM and the need of that in the industry. It's like if you look at the need of relationship for humans, has been there at the center right from the inceptions. But because what happened, in terms of overproduce, the corporate, they probably fail to keep the customer or patient at the center, and they started pushing what was available. And that's the reason why the transactional relationship started. And now if you look at the challenges again, as you asked in this question as well, for the pharmaceutical is like, if you look at the R&D, it is time consuming and then very high investment. Marketing itself is very high investment. And when you try to acquire a customer, and customer acquisition as well is very difficult and is very costly affair. And when they are there with you, they are not staying with you, so how you are going to retain them? So these are some of the the challenges that pharmaceutical has been facing typically. And I mean, so the strategic part that I'm referring to, where you can speed up with your R&D, and then you can minimize the cost, or you might have some strategic solutions, how you interact with your customers, and how you enhance the business from the customer that you are having. Or maybe you have a the partnership for a longer time. That is the way where I look at how you engage with them, and then maybe you can maximize your the revenue and then growth, or rather have the sustainable growth. That's where the industry needs to make some impact, and that would help people to have the sustainable growth as well. So could you please repeat the next question?
Yeah, yeah. So the question was, what are maybe two, three problem areas probably where maybe startups could intervene, and then it could benefit that kind of intervention. It could be in the supply chain also. So you talked about R&D, maybe in the supply chain, even let's say a lot of manpower you have, even let's say accessible, maybe let's say the distribution of these medicines it concern into different maybe smaller cities. Of course, in the larger cities, the logistics part is slightly easier compared to maybe smaller cities where each endpoint is quite maybe far off. So all these areas, maybe some startups could take problem statements and then provide solutions so that the larger organizations are more focused on one particular area, and then other aspects are taken care by these startups.
Yeah. So, Dr. Siddharth, I would like to, put these startups into two buckets, for our understanding. The one is like the large level, you know, uh, those companies, and then there are micro, small, or medium level startup that is happening. So let me cover the first one. I mean, the one which I say that the micro or small or medium startup. Essentially, these are the people who have been into most of the time they are into pharmaceutical business in some capacity. They would have been into either distribution, or they would have been, I mean, they would have owned their business as a distributor, or maybe these are the people who have worked in pharmaceutical company, and they were quite successful, and they thought that they can start on their own and they can make a difference. So this is one part. So the challenge with these people is that yes, they start in a the limited geography and they do really well. Uh, as the business grows, when you start acquiring the customer, probably the one man army does not work. So you have to have the manpower, you have to have the marketing support, sales support, training support, and obviously a product that you intend to offer to the people is the quality product. So the sourcing and supply chain you rightly mentioned. So as the company grows beyond, let's say, 4 crore or 5 crore, they suffer. And they suffer, basically they do not get a good marketing support or good strategic support. And probably the fund again becomes the challenge. So if you are limiting your operation in very small area, small geography, and you are happy with whatever you earn, I mean whatever business you are doing, 1 crore or 2 crores, and that's the way sometime people survive. And these kind of the startups normally they survive 4 to 5 years maximum. So they have their typical challenge. They do not have the great strategic and marketing support. So probably these people are doing the great job in terms of providing the access to the healthcare, right? But at the same time, the support is missing. So I would today take this opportunity that the people like you and I, we should help these people, we should mentor these people, to do the business in the right way, to expand their usage, to understand the whole strategic, the whole operations, how they minimize their cost and how they interact with their customer, so that they have the sustainable growth. So this is one part of the startup. They have their own challenges. Now, Dr. Siddharth, the other part where you have initial enough funding, but obviously, as I said, the pharmaceutical business is the investment intense and then and time consuming or time intense business. You have to have patience. So one thing is like you have to have vertical integrations if you have your facilities that way, and it will help you. The challenge is like you are missing with the product that is the differentiated one. What is the need gap and what exactly your product is going to address that? So most of the time we are missing this piece. So everything becomes what you call the general. For example, I keep on taking this example globally. If you look at the coffee houses like Dunkin Donuts and Starbucks, they have done better differentiation, in terms of their offering than many a times the pharmaceutical products. So
Okay.
the pharmaceutical products nowadays, they are losing their technological differentiation, and the doctors, or maybe even the patient, they see them interchangeable. So
Okay.
this product or that product, they are similar, so there is no differentiation. So that is the biggest the challenge in terms of addressing the core need, and obviously your offering. And hence you have to have a very the great the facility where you are manufacturing the product that is solving need of the people. So as I said, in the previous part, that the mostly people want to sell what is available. So it is not the market centric, the customer centric. It's basically what I have, I want to sell that, so I'll start pushing that. And that's where the transactional relationship comes, in between. But the idea here is like, you should look at the market, look at the need point of view. And then obviously you'll have to have a great setup where you can produce this kind of the product, and you have to take that product to the end user. And I think supply chain again becomes the great challenge. If you have a product or a category which requires to maintain the cold chain, it has got its own challenges. And today's, if you look at the chemist, they would be kind of overburdened with a lot of the similar product. So which product to have? The doctors, many times, they also are overburdened or overwhelmed with the brands, the kind of companies they are going and asking them to prescribe. Many times they also do not see, as I said, this product is different from the others. So the availability itself becomes a big challenge, right? So like, right from the the company till the distribution, again, I mean, the distributor, the mediators, till the chemist, and the finally when it reaches to the end users, there are challenges and there are many gaps.
Sure.
And the system is such that it does not allow you to bring in uh, many innovations, though you can think of that. And I would like to give one perspective that the pharmaceutical is highly regulated market. So like our field operations, the distributions, everything, no, they operate in a particular way. Now the biggest challenge, I'm talking about the availability or the market access. Like initially there would be, let's say, x number of the stockists who would stock our product and go and cater to the market. So now the number of the stockists is going up, so there is a lot of competition among themselves. And so how you will ensure that you are catering to a particular the chemist or retail chain? Again, there is need how you innovate at your end as well, as a supplier, as a distributor. So there are multiple places where even supply chain is having the challenge today. And there are emerging way where people can leverage those the technology. For example, how you can reach directly to the end consumer. Obviously, as I said, it's a regulated market, we have to solve for that. So there are select categories which you can think from the company, you know the warehouse, the way today Flipkart or Amazon, they would do their business. So if you can innovate that part, addressing the compliant the requirement or the regulatory requirement. So that's the one part. Another is like how you will cater the individuals requirement. For example, as you mentioned rightly in the beginning, during the COVID time, the systems were kind of under challenge. So whether you rely on your next door chemist or you rely on your online e-commerce platform, I mean, both are different thing, but in the end, how the local chemist, even if the goods are available and they are catering to the patients in their community. And I think the whole ecosystem uh, needs to get revamped, leveraging the technology, so that the end user is not suffering, and then access to these products are available whenever they want, at whatever time they want.
Sure, sure. So, thank you, Mr. Shailendra, for all these insights. So, for the audience, Mr. Shailendra also mentors startups, and he is also IICMC certified independent director. So, in future, hopefully, we'll see him in another very strategic role. So, and of course, to leverage with so many decades of experience as in this industry. So, thank you, Mr. Shailendra, for joining this session on a Sunday and taking out time for it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Siddharth, for having me here once again. Look forward for such interactions.
Sure, sure. Thank you, and thank you all the audiences who joined this session. And
Thank
I
you.
hope they also benefited, and then other parties, other viewers who would see it in due course, they would also benefit quite a bit. So thanks a lot, everyone.